All right, let's get to her question. You want to read that?
So, Sarah says, so now my question. For the logical reasoning section, I have a question about going back to review questions. Okay, third. Thanks so much for your help. I I
We
don't
do
ever
not go
tell
back
people
to
to
read.
go back. Yeah.
Well, I think she's saying, oh, I thought she was talking about just during review, but no, she's talking, oh, during the section.
That's what I think. But let's go ahead and read it. I
We
was
never
kind
go
of
back.
joking, but
Okay.
yeah, never go back during the section. But anyways, currently when I'm taking the logical reasoning section, I go through each stimulus, try to determine the flaw, and then find the answer choice as you guys suggest. However, sometimes despite spending good time on a question, I'm still not 100% confident in the answer. Instead of staying on that question, I move on and write down the question number to revisit later.
Oh yeah, no.
Nope. I believe that taking a fresh look at it later will help me identify something I may have missed on my first attempt. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? For reference, I'm scoring in the high 160s on my practice test, and my performance is relatively even across the three sections. I would say if you're not sure, you're almost certainly down to two. Pick whichever one you think is best, commit to that, and then move on. And if you're doing that a lot, you're going too fast through the section. If you have time to go back at the end, you're going too fast through the section. I get it. There's going to be one or two questions where you're not 100% sure about. Pick an answer. You're done. That's it.
Yeah, it's a frantic way of doing the timed section. You're sending yourself the message that you need to race the clock. You're constantly like, gotta move on, gotta move on, gotta move on, gotta move on. I'm not done with this question yet, but I'm gonna write down a number that takes some time, and I'm gonna move on. And then on the next question, I'm gonna remember that I have this list of other questions that I have to go back to. So then I have to make sure that I race through all of these remaining questions in the section. Of course, some of those I also won't feel confident about, so I'll write down the number for those ones as well. Then I'll finish the section, finish in scare quotes, the section, because you didn't actually finish it. What you did was you half-assed 5 of the questions, get to the end, then go back to the first one. And even when you go back to the first one, you're still remembering, oh, I have these other 4 that are on the list that I have to go back and review those ones again.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's the thing. Even if your hypothesis is correct, that taking a fresh look at it later will help you identify something you may have missed on your first attempt, you're ignoring the cost of doing this, which is this distraction and anxiety. And you're just, even if it helps you get that one right, the one that you flagged, it might make you miss 2 other ones where you think you were confident, but you really weren't, because you were just kind of skating through, you know, like skimming the surface so that you could finish, so that you could go back, so that you could then actually finish. I just can't disagree with that idea enough. I would much rather you just go through once, forward to back, and just get as close as you're going to get. Answer the question and then let go of it and move on.
Hey, so Sarah has an update for us. She says, I took the LSAT and got a 174 exclamation point. Too bad my undergraduate GPA is a 3.54. Congratulations on the 174. I have to speculate here. So she says she's scoring in the high 160s, and maybe she broke into the 170s before she took the LSAT, but I wonder if this is just a function of the flex yet again.
Well,
Right?
it could also be that she kept studying and her skills increased and
Oh, for
whatever.
sure. Yeah, Sarah, I don't mean to detract from all your efforts and so forth, but I'm surprised by how many people we hear scoring on the upper end or the highest
Yeah.
end of their range
Yeah.
with the.
Simultaneously, though, we're also hearing people just killing it in the demon. And so, I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
could, like, I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, how many more students are going to tell me that they've improved already by 20%, by 20 points on the demon? And
Yeah.
it, like, I legitimately had the thought, like, did we like crack the code of the LSAT? Like, are we, it's like, we're going to shut down the LSAT because people are improving by so much. It's obviously
Mm-hmm.
self-serving of me to say that,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
again, just because I'm biased does not mean that I'm wrong. And like, people are just absolutely killing it on the LSAT prep. So it could be
Well,
that.
I do think it's a lethal combination. I know I've said this a million times, but the way it serves up questions is based on studies that have been conducted in a wide range of fields, and you combine that with our explanations, which focus on an intuitive understanding of the test, not a formulaic one. Those two things together,
Yeah.
I believe that's the best. That's why we're
Yeah.
doing what we're doing.
I
But
mean, there's a third thing too. Like there's this synergy in the community that we've built. I've like my classes, my Zoom classes are so much more effective than my live classes ever were. And it's not just because of the demon. I mean, it's definitely
the
because of the
chat
demon.
and stuff
But
too.
the chat is fucking incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
people are like, I'm going off on my, lesson slash stupid tangent about whatever I want to joke about, right, in class. And simultaneously people are like asking questions and getting responses, mostly good,
Without interrupting, because
no,
it's
it's
chat.
silent.
Yeah.
No, I don't have
Yeah.
to yell at the kids for chatting in the class, which I used to have to do, like, hey, in the back, I can hear you. Could you please not do that? And instead now there's this chat that's going on where it's silent, and yeah, I scan it, and sometimes people say stupid things, and then I have to call them out for it and say like, well, no, actually that's not correct. Mostly though, the students will actually self-police it, right? Because I've got students who have been in the class for a while, and they've got it, and they're helping. But the thing I really wanted to say is that they're helping each other out in ways that I never could have anticipated. And I don't know, I've said this to you a million times, but I love teaching in Zoom. It's so much better than that live classroom instruction. If we go back to the way it was before COVID, and and people start offering live LSAT classes again, I guarantee you your live LSAT class sucks compared to what I'm doing in Zoom right now. There's no fucking way your Kaplan class in Omaha is going to be, it's not even going to touch what we're doing in Zoom. And it's not just me either, because I mean, all of our other teachers are killing it as well. People
Well, it was fun
bitch.
to teach. Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say it was fun. Just piling on here, but it was fun to teach that personal statement workshop with you.
Yeah.
And it was like every time I look back at the chat, it's like 77 new comments. I'm like, okay, I can't like digest all this.
Yeah, you got to have some help. Like Stella does a kick-ass job helping me monitor the chat in class. So if I miss something, she'll say, hey, do you want to answer Jacqueline's question about whatever? And I'll go, oh yeah, thank you. Go back and actually answer that. I'm hearing a lot these days. There's this like, people just make blanket statements. Of course, I'm guilty of that as much as anybody else or more. But you hear a lot of people saying online education sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to buy that online education sucks for 5-year-olds. Like teaching kindergarten online. My sister's a kindergarten teacher, and teaching kindergarten online indeed is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And maybe even teaching 7th graders. We had a student in class last night who teaches 7th and 8th graders. And he was like, you could tell that he was like shell shocked from trying to teach these kids online. And so I'm willing to buy that teaching, kids with behavior problems online might suck. Teaching LSAT students online is vastly better than trying to teach LSAT students in a live classroom. Everybody saves so much time. You're able to stay focused because you're in your own controlled environment. You don't have to hear other people chewing ice. You don't have to smell each other's weird food. You don't have to jockey for position in the classroom. There's no bad seat in the house. There's nobody who can't see. There's nobody who can't hear. You don't hear any distraction, chitter chatter. And then you actually have the chat where people are hugely helpful to each other. So it's just, I mean, it's better in a million. Oh, if you need to take a break, you
just leave.
Everybody's on mute, and if you need to do whatever you got to do, turn off your camera, go do whatever you got to do, come back 8 minutes later. You didn't miss anything. It's totally fine. Oh, and if you did, it's automatically recorded and you can just watch it right after the class. So I can't, my teaching life has been vastly better post COVID. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have just moved everything online. It's so much better. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was a lengthy tangent.